much, and I'd also like to thank the board for coming here today. We had the Minister before us, and he assured us at that time that the questions we had would be more appropriately directed to yourselves. Now, I have a doubt that we'll have to bring him back, but anyway, because I feel that there are some questions that still need to be answered by the Minister. Mr Keeling, you said that you met the previous chair when you were taken over on a number of occasions. And there's just a couple of things that you said to me there. First of all, you said that the plan was that Brian Kavanagh was the plan. Now, I don't understand how Brian Kavanagh could have been the plan when his contracts clearly stated that he could not get a third contract. Like, if he was, how could it be? You know, and you said as well that you didn't focus on the legalities of it. Now, I mean, the reality is you're the chairperson of the board. It's your job to focus on the realities of it. You also said that there was no point in going back to the board with this, and that you knew when you had the board with you. You know, I put it to you that that's, you know, and I'm not trying to be personal with this, but quite an arrogant way of explaining this position. Surely to God, you know, your job was to bring the board with you. Your job was to ensure that if there was any legal issues out there, that you were aware of them and that they were in place. And the legality of the situation was that Brian Kavanagh was barred from having a third term. That was the legal position. And therefore, the plan could not have been Brian Kavanagh and should never have been Brian Kavanagh. Now, the business case which we talked about and was talked up an awful lot in the beginning of this situation, it turns out, is simply the series of letters and the correspondence that went over and back between the board. At the time when we had the Minister here, he said that the big part of the business case was the 5-year plan for horse racing in Ireland. Now, I've looked through the 5-year plan for horse racing in Ireland, and while I expect that the management of the industry is important, it doesn't in any place state that it hinges on any single individual on this planet, let alone Brian Kavanagh. So I don't understand how he could be the only person that could possibly run this organisation. I mean, with the best of good wishes to the man, if something happened to him tomorrow morning, somebody else would have to be found. So I don't understand how the board of an organisation that's getting €60 million a year of Irish taxpayers' money could act in such a way and expect to simply get away with it and say that they had no other plan and that they didn't focus on the legalities. It seems all a very flippant way of dealing with this situation. Now, there's a couple of questions that I want to try and get to, because the members of the board, and there's many members of the board here, and I just would like to know, are there many members of the board that are awaiting reappointment, that are not full members of the board? And are they all properly appointed here and now? And are they properly appointed by the organisation supposed to have appointed them? Because this comes back again to proper governance in relation to these matters. I was looking through the national sporting body. Is this a sporting body? You know, and yesterday evening in Áras an Uachtaráin, Special Olympics Ireland got commended by the President, and rightly so. Special Olympics Ireland in 2015 got 1.4 million, and in 2016 got 1.2 million in taxpayers' money. Horse racing in Ireland got 60 million. Now, I think, you know, that to me puts a huge issue here on the table in regard to this. I also looked at, you know, the prize money that's going to racing in Ireland. And in 2015, across the whole country, there was 53.4 million spent in prize money, and horse racing in Ireland contributed almost 35 million of that. Now, I don't know, but I expect, and I know many people who breed horses. I come from County Leitrim, and I know many farmers and many ordinary people out there who are struggling to survive. You know, and a lot of them will have an old nag or two around the house, but none of them are in the winner's enclosure. And certainly nobody out there of the good public would expect that the winner's enclosure, where we see mostly people who are, and I expect that this 35 million or so was won in general by probably 20 individuals in this country. And they are very, very wealthy individuals. And as far as I'm concerned, and we represent the people here, you know, that is a huge transfer of public money going to the very wealthiest in our society. And I have an issue with that. And I think, you know, in reality, as members of a board of a state body, you too have an issue, should have an issue with that. And I think there are many things in the horse racing industry that will need to be sorted out and need to be addressed. And certainly the issue in regard to where all of this money is going is one of them. Now, and just one other question, and I wanted to just ask this of John Maloney. govt Galway Racecourse, is it the case that Galway Racecourse, that the HRI has just agreed to put €6 million in funds for a champagne bar at Galway Racecourse? Is that a proper use of taxpayers' money? And does Galway Racecourse have any other properties in Ireland or abroad? Why should the taxpayer be putting this kind of money into this industry?
Deputy Kenny, with respect, we're dealing with, particularly with the appointment of the Chief Executive.
I understand that, but we are also dealing, with respect, Chairperson, with the good governance and with the spending of taxpayers' money. And I rang about a medical card for a man last week, and I had to explain everything about him. And I think it's only right that when there's €60 million involved, that the people who are involved in spending that money should also be able to explain themselves.
Yeah, point taken.
Thank you.
Can I reply to the last question that Mr. Kenny
Sorry,
said?
just before you do, the next round of questions will be Deputy Daly and Deputy Carr.